Hello everyone, welcome back to the Crash MotoGP YouTube channel, and today we are going to cover a story that broke in the Spanish press. It was from the business outlet Expansión. They ran an article at the start of this week saying that Liberty Media, so they're the owners of Formula One, were in talks to buy over Dorna, who of course are the commercial rights holder for MotoGP. Now in this video we're just going to discuss what the possibilities are for this, can it happen, and if it did happen, would it be good for MotoGP? Yes, of course, back on camera again, long time no see, but don't worry, you'll be seeing plenty of me and a few others next week, so stay tuned. We've got something coming that I think a few of you might appreciate and like. But let's get on to this video today. We are talking, of course, about Liberty Media. They bought over F1 in 2017, and since then they have grew the sport through the avenues of Netflix with Drive to Survive, which has rapidly improved the popularity around the world, and F1 is in such a strong place commercially. You know, they've cracked America, they are wanted pretty much all around the world. Every country that you can think of would love to have a Grand Prix in their country, and F1 commercially are thriving. Now Liberty Media have added a certain Americanism, it would be fair to say, to Formula One. Now F1 struggled for many years to get into the American market. You know, they were there in the 80s and of course the 70s. They had plenty of Grand Prix in Detroit, Vegas, you name it. There was Grand Prix in America, but the popularity was varied. And then we had the big incidents with F1 in the 2000s with Indianapolis. The tires, I'm not getting into that, it isn't an F1 channel, but America fell out of love with F1, and Liberty Media have clawed that back, and it is the most popular it's ever been. Would MotoGP be similar? Now, in one aspect, I would think Liberty Media taking over Dorna, and having a new fresh set of people involved. You still get people that would stay on in Dorna that would work under Liberty Media. But I do think a fresh set of eyes, especially for a company like Liberty Media, who, like we say, have taken not just motorsport by storm with F1, but they've taken a big hold in sport. F1 is no longer competing against other motorsports. It is competing against the sports that everyone watches. Football. If you go to America, American football, of course it's nowhere near that level. But it has got a stake in the market. It's a bit more difficult with MotoGP. I always seem to think that we're different. Motorcycle fans, there's something about motorbike racing that just draws us to it. It's hard to explain. And motorbikes is slightly different. I think you have to come from either a family, or you've known someone, or you've just grown up around bikes, or just it grabs you one day. It's just something's different with MotoGP, and I think the product is completely separate. And would Liberty Media try to Americanize MotoGP? Potentially yes, because it is a big market. New commercial officer Dan Rossamundo for Dorna saying the same thing. America has the most eyeballs on it, and MotoGP is the perfect sport for America. It's only 45 minutes long. Races are much shorter than F1, and you get even more action, and it's better. So if that could be the case for Liberty Media to buy over the stake of Dorna, Dorna currently own 20% of the MotoGP stake. The rest is owned by Bridgepoint and other investors. Bridgepoint is a Canadian public fund. So yeah, there's definitely no smoke without fire. I do think with this story there is plenty of, how can I say, it makes sense. And Carmelo Espeleta has been asked about a sale plenty of times down the year, and he's always said that Dorna is for sale. And we believe that Dorna are asking for $4 billion. That's their buyout essentially for the brand of MotoGP. Do they get that? I don't know. Could you think of what you can buy for $4 billion? Certain football teams are worth that. I know my team, Chelsea, went for near $6 billion. So MotoGP as a product and that brand, could they get something around that? It's hard to say. But would it be a good thing for MotoGP to have the same owners as F1. I don't know with legislation wise if this could really happen. You know, it goes through EU laws and everything, but hypothetically, I think it would be a good idea. I've seen some people say that it wouldn't be, but the people in Liberty Media are brilliant at marketing, and I think that's what MotoGP needs. It needs a market just so it sells itself in the right way. And I think the best way of getting people involved with, you know, understanding a sport, it sounds quite contradictory, but I think if you get a load of motorcycle fans together and how they would market their sport, it actually doesn't work. I think you need people from the outside in who don't really know anything about it to try and change it and change perspectives that way. Now, it's controversial for me to say that, but you do need fresh eyes to completely change how you want your sport to look, you know, how it looks on social media, which is so important these days, and just how it reaches out to people. You know, F1, predominantly English speaking, you know, it's the language that hits America, of course, and the drivers are so much more PR friendly. In MotoGP, we have a lot of Spanish, Italian, you know, French. You know, it hits the European market really well. But in the English-speaking countries like the UK, we don't have a British rider. In America, there's no American rider. You know, I'm not saying that that would fix the problem, but in terms of reach and trying to get it out there, it certainly would help. And I think, you know, Dorna are trying to change, which is good. But I think Liberty Media would fast-track things so much. And the branding of the sport would be fantastic on social media. You have to give F1 their credit. When Liberty bought them over from Bernie Ecclestone, to see the jump that they have taken is incredible. Put it in this way, I seen a tweet from one of the lead editors on the F1 YouTube side. They were on 300,000 subscribers in 2017. This year and this week, they have just hit 10 million subscribers on YouTube. What does that tell you about what they're doing with their content? And I think MotoGP, you know, we've said it before, MotoGP is the best form of motorsport. It far outweighs F1's racing product. We've got the best action in the world. And I think if it's done right, and maybe if it's sold to Liberty Media, who knows, we could have the best product showcased in the way it should be. Because, as you know, I love MotoGP, and I think it deserves to be the best sport. Not just motorsport, it deserves to be the best sport out there for everyone to see, because it's just the best action. You can read the article in our description. Leave a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's a good idea? You know, if Liberty do buy over Dorna, what's your thoughts? Let us know below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel below. It's completely free. And yeah, stay tuned for next week. We've got something coming very special, and I think a lot of you will be pleased. So yeah. And that being said, we will see you next time.